Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library. And I wanted to do something, a little combination today. I'm going to show you how to make some ear wraps and ear rings, and some ear wraps that will coordinate with earrings. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I've done both ear wraps and earrings, of course. And I just wanted to show you some different ways that you can wear them that are a little bit more avant-garde, a little more edgy. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It doesn't take anything outside of the ordinary beads. I'm going to be using seed beads and paper beads just to prove my point. And you'll need some chain and 20 gauge wire. And that's it. That's it as far as the components are concerned. And you'll need your usual tools, your round nose pliers. The barrels are round all the way around. Your square nose pliers that are slightly rounded on the outside and flat on the inside. Now remember, if you're buying this, check to make sure that the inside is smooth and doesn't have those little ridges on the inside. Otherwise, it can damage your wire. The third thing that you'll need is a pair of cutters, a pair of wire cutters. And last but not least, you will need a ruler. Actually, that's not the last thing. You'll need a ruler. You'll need some kind of a cylindrical item because we're going to be making ear wraps. So you'll need something just to wrap your wire around, just to get a round shape that's not too much bigger than the back of your ear, the shape of the back of your ear. And then you can adjust it after you get the round shape made. What else? What else? What else? You also need a small cylindrical item. It can be an ink pen, something that's not too large. I'm going to be using the little side of this reamer, which is the size of an ink pen, a small ink pen, to make ear wires. I do believe that is it. So let's go ahead and get down here to the mat and get started. Okay, let's start with an ear wrap. I'm going to take 3.5 inches of wire, and I'm going to make a little wrap that will go around the back of my ear that doesn't require any piercings in order for you to be able to wear it. So what I'm going to do is take this little spool that I have my wire on, and I'm just going to use that to get a nice rounded shape. A nice curved shape that I can then use for my ear. So I've got that. And then I'm going to make a little loop. This will be for the bottom. It's going to go on this little guy right here. So I'll just show you that when you put it on, it's going to go on the back ear, and then you can shape it to fit your own ear. So it's going to go on like that. Oh, guess you can't see that. There we go. So it's going to go around the back of your ear. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a small loop that's going to go just behind your earlobe. And what I'm going to do is make a loop going in the direction of that's going to continue the direction of the curve of my ear wrap. So I'm going to go right here on the tip. It doesn't need to be a huge loop. So I'm going to just grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers. Make sure that the tip of your wire is in between the jaws of the pliers and not sticking out the back here. If you can feel it, then it's too far up. So then I'm going to start with a small turn, and I'm holding onto the wire, and I've got my forefinger under the pliers just to hold it in place. Then without shifting the wire, I'm going to open the pliers up, reposition them back, give it another small turn, and then reposition again. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have the tip of my wire touching the rest of my wire. So that's what I have. Not quite closed. Let's close that up. There we go. So I've got a nice little loop. Then I'm going to check it out. So I want that loop to sit just behind my earlobe, not below it. I don't want to see it below my earlobe. So this is what I have. Where it is back there. And you're going to shape it to fit your ear. This is kind of sticking out right now. I'm going to shape it. Just like so, so that it'll lay against my ear. So this is what I have so far. And now I'm going to make a little spiral at the top because I don't think I'm going to have anything up here. So I'm going to make a little spiral so that it will be a little bit decorative. So again, I'm going to grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers. Again, making sure that that's not sticking out. I can feel it, and that's moving. So I'm going to scoot it back until that tip is hidden between the pliers. I'm going to make a small turn. First turn is always a challenge because your wire wants to escape. So I'm going to continue to turn until the wire is almost touching the back. The tip is almost touching the back of the rest of the wire, but not quite. Then I'm going to continue to turn because I want a little open spiral. And I'm wrapping the wire around itself. Nice and open. And you can see that little spiral forming. And then when I can't do it with my round pliers anymore, I'll switch to my square pliers and continue my little spiral. Just continue until it's the size that I want. I'm going to check it a little bit more. Check it on my little earlobe. See what I've got. Again, I want this bottom loop behind my earlobe, but not visible. Okay, I'm going to open that up a little bit. Just kind of fit it right here at the top of my ear. Just like that. So that's what I have. I've got a little bit of a bend in here that I don't want to see right there. It's a little sharp. Let's fix that. Let's get that out of there. So it's a little more rounded. Fit it again. And again, you're going to fit this on your own ear. There we go. So there's the back. There's the front. It's kind of popping up a little bit, so I'm going to push it down. And so there's my little wrap right around the back. Now, what do we do with that? Well, we need to decorate it a little bit, right? That little bend out. There we go. And then I lay it down, and this is a little bit popped up under here, so I'm going to push it down so that it's nice and flat. So it's going to lay nicely against the front and behind the back of my ear. There we go. So there's my little wrap. So now I just need something to put on it. So I'm going to grab some paper beads. And I'm going to make a little chain. I'm showing you several ear chains. that you can wear in several different ways. So I'm just taking a nice little eye pin here, and I'm going to put it on my paper bead and close it. Again, I only need a small loop. So right here, just past the tip, make sure that the tip of my wire is not sticking out of the pliers. There we go. Let's make my little loop. Okay, there we go. I'm going to bend that back so that my wire is centered right on top. There we go. So there's my little first link. The next one is going to be on the bottom. So I'm going to use a head pin for that. Slide that in. Make my little loop. You only need about 1/2 inch in order to make my loop. So I'm going to cut the rest of that off. And hold on to that tip so it doesn't go flying across the room to parts unknown. Then I'm going to make my little loop. Again, just a small loop is necessary. Right here, just beyond the tip, sticking out. Pull that back, there we go. Make my little loop. And then I don't want it to be a P shape, so I'm going to bend it back so that it's centered on top of my bead. And that in the opposite direction, away from where the tip is. Close that up, and there we go. Now you're probably asking, let me close that completely. So now what? Well, we're going to hook it to a piece of chain. I've already done this one. So we're going to attach that. To our chain. So I've got this little piece of chain and I just have a 1/2 inch. I didn't want it to dangle too long. I want it long, but not too crazy. So I'm going to open up one of my little loops, slide the chain on, the very last link of chain, just slide that on, close it up. Okay. Open up the other link for what's going to be a link. Put that on the other end of my chain. Close it. There we go. And now let's attach it to the last chain that I have here. Open that up and attach. And close. And now notice I'm opening it up to the sides. I'm twisting it open, not pulling the tip away from the back of the wire like this. I'm not pulling it apart. I'm twisting it open. So there's my little chain. And now I'm going to attach it to my ear wrap. So right down here, that bottom loop, open that up, again to the side, slide my little chain on that open loop, right down in there. And twist it closed. And there we have it. Let's put it on and see what it looks like. And again, I've said this numerous times, you're going to shape this to your own ear. There we go. Squeeze that a little more snug. And there it is. There's my little ear wrap. Neat, huh? I like it. Okay, so I'm going to go to another, well, a next one, I think I'm just going to show you how to do an decorative ear wire that would actually go in a piercing. Yeah, let's do that next. Okay, so I'm going to take that little guy off, and I'm going to grab another piece of wire, this one being 3-inch, so a little over 3.25 inches. And we're going to make an ear wire. So what I'm going to do is make another open spiral. I'm going to grab my round nose pliers again, right here on the tip of my wire. And I'm going to make another loop. Just almost close it, but not quite. So I want another open loop. Then I'm going to continue to wrap that wire around itself. Keep going. And then when I can't go any further because I would be squishing my wire together, I'm going to switch from my round nose pliers to my square pliers and continue. Now I'm using 3.25 inches of wire. The amount that you use depends on how big you want your little spiral to be. Get that a little closer together without touching. Okay. Nice and slow. There's no hurry here. Just take it nice and slow until I have about 1.5 inches of wire left. That's not curled into a spiral. A little bigger, my spiral here. Okay, so there we go. That's about 1.75 inches. Let's take it down to 1.5 inches. Well, let's just take it down to, there we go. I don't want my spiral to be too humongous. There we go. So I've got a little over 1.5 inches of wire left that is not on the spiraled end. So now I'm going to grab my little cylindrical item, which again could be an ink pen, just something round that's not too big. I'm going to place it right here on the back of my spiral, right behind my spiral, just below where the spiral begins. Let's do it this way. It's easier if I hold on to the spiral. Then I'm going to bend my wire around the cylindrical item, your ink pen or whatever it is that you're using. Just going to bend that around like so. I can take that off of there, and I'm going to put a little curve in my wire Just kind of nice little graceful curve with my fingers. Sure that's straight. It's a little bit squared off. Let's fix that. Then I'm going to go down here to the tip. You can use your round or your square pliers, but make sure you're just right on the tip of your wire and the tip of your pliers. And put a little bit of a bend in there, just a tiny one. There we go. And there's my ear wire. I lay it down, make sure it's nice and flat. And shape it to the way I want it to look. There's my ear wire. And now I'm going to connect that. Already got another one already made. And I'm going to connect that to my loop. This one I'm putting directly on without an additional chain. I could have used another chain like this, but I don't want it too long. Slide that down inside the spiral, and I just went from the end, slide it right over the end of my wire and let it settle right down in my little spiral. And if the spiral's too tight and this doesn't have enough movement, just grab your pliers and pull the little rungs away. Open it up a little bit. And there we go. There's my little ear wire. Now, when you finish one of these, you want to make sure that you take an emery board or a nail file and just round out those edges, because you don't want to stick this newly cut wire in your ear without making sure that the edges aren't sharp. And it just takes, you really only need an emery board. You don't need a special tool for that, because we're using, or I'm using, dead soft 20 gauge. It's very soft. It will work harden over time, but for right now, it's very fileable. And just kind of round it out. Now, I do it in one direction, like you do your fingernails. In other words, I mean, I don't saw back and forth. Get it nice and round. Check it with your fingers. Make sure it feels good, comfortable, and not sharp and sticking. There we go. That feels good. Let's try it on, see what it looks like on my little fake earlobe. This is very, very thick and very fleshy. It's like, I really have to. There we go. To really get it in there because it's not pierced. I'm piercing it every time I try on an earring. Then it closes right back up again. But there is my fancy schmancy little ear wire. Isn't that cute? I'm gonna try to get a little closer here. Yeah. Isn't that cute? All right, 2 down, 1 to go. Oh, and I just, as a fluke, tried this on with this. I just put them on at the same time. Ah, look at that. Isn't that neat? Something different. I like it. Okay, so next, my next little thing that I wanted to show you. It's the exact same way that you made your chain. Let's go ahead and I'm using little seed beads for this. And well, I've already showed you how to make your ear wire. And I have one already made, except that what we're doing on this one is making a loop on the bottom and a loop on the top. So the loop on the, oops, that's top, yeah, there we go. The loop on the top is looped around just one little loop in the direction of the curve. The loop on the bottom is directed away from the curve. Or is it the opposite? I think it's the opposite. Yeah, there we go. That's the way it's supposed to be. Where's my little ear? Oh, there we go. Okay, so for this one, the little loop is in the direction of the curve, just like I did on the other one. And on the back, it's directed away from the curve, just like that. Same way you made the other ear wire. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little chain, well, part of a chain, exactly the same way that I made the other one. Take a little eye pin, put a bead on, make my little loop. There we go. Again, I'm sliding it down just at the tip, grabbing the tip with the tip and making a loop. Close that up, then bend it. I've been rolling this way and then bend it back the opposite way in order to get it centered on top of my bead. Just like that. And I'm going to do a second one with a head pin. Slide that on, cut that down to 1/2 inch. Hold on to that tip because I don't want it to go flying. Make my little loop. There we go. Let's correct that P, bend it back so that it's centered on top of my bead. There we go. Close that up nicely. And this is going to go on the top of my ear wire, of my ear wrap. So I'm going to attach it to my chain. Again, I have about 1/2 inch. You can make it as long or as short as you want. I didn't want it to dangle too much. So I've got about 1/2 inch of chain here. Slide that on that last loop. of my chain, close it up. And I'm going to attach it to the top of my ear wrap. Close that up. There we go. Now this I'm going to attach to the rest of my chain that I've already made. Open up my little loop. Slide on the chain, the last link of the chain. Okay, close that up. Nice. And then attach to the rest of my chain. And again, I'm opening it by twisting my wrist to the side. Slide on that last loop of chain and close it back up again. There you go. Now that's going to attach to my earlobe. And you notice that I have two rings, and I will show you why a little later on. Because I have one more thing that I need to make. Go. And that just goes right around my ear again. Adjust it to fit. There it is. Now you're wondering, what am I going to do with this other loop? Well, I'm about to show you. So let's get another piece of wire. This one is 3 inches long. I'm going to measure about 3/4 of an inch from the tip. So that is a little less bent. About 3/4 of an inch from the tip, because we're going to make a little ear post. So I'm going to bend that out to the side like so. And then right here, beside the short wire, I'm going to start wrapping There's an easier way to do this. I should have showed you. I'm going to show you a different way. I did this I've usually done it that way, but then I discovered another way, a better way to do it. And that is to measure your little 3/4 of an inch, make your loop. Again, I'm just right here at the tip of my pliers. I'm going to make a loop here and stop. Then take this wire, the short wire, and I'm going to bend it right here where the wires match up. I'm going to bring this down a little bit closer. Right here where the wires cross over, I'm going to bend that wire toward me. Like that. So that's going to be my post. Just like that. Then I'm going to grab my square pliers, and with my hand, I'm going to direct the wire to wrap around the loop that I've already got started. Now this is a little bit of a challenge because I've got this thing sticking out. And you're going to have to be patient, just wrapping that around. See, I have two wires side by side. Continue to wrap. See my little spiral and my little pin is sticking out. Once you get it started, it gets a little easier. Wrapping around itself. Now I have something to hold on to. Before, that little pin was really in the way. Again, the wires are side by side. Here we go. Okay. Keep wrapping until I get down to where I can't wrap any longer. In fact, that might be a little bigger than I want. So I'm going to stop here. Just a little bit more. And it depends on how big a spiral you want, because this is going to be an ear post. In other words, it's going to rest right against your ear. So it just depends on how big you want it to be. Okay, then once I have that, just have a tiny little bit left. I'm going to grab my round pliers and I'm going to make a loop. My tail end is sticking out that way, so I'm going to wrap my loop in the opposite direction. Right here, just beyond the tip of my pliers. Again, I don't want the wire sticking out. And I'm going to make a little loop. And just take your time and be patient. Make sure it closes. There we go. So there's my little post. Keep that straight. Need to adjust it at all. There we go. And that is going to go in the ear. Again, you're going to take your little nail file or your emery board. You're going to round that sharp edge out so that it's nice and smooth. Get it out with my finger, make sure it feels good. If I poke it into my finger and say ouch, then it's not ready. There we go. Now this is going to go right in my ear. Poke that in there. Going through to the back there. And I can clip a little bit of this off because we're pretending like that's my skin. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So I'm going to clip a little bit of it off. Doesn't need to be sticking out quite that much. Just clip it down to where it's comfortable for you. Again, there's the little tip. Don't want it to fly away. There we go. Get off from there. There, go away. And then you can take one of these little earring backs to put it on, like you have with your earring. It's a challenge to get it on this mounted one. Okay, there we go. Slide that on. There. Now you're asking, now what? So now we're going to go ahead and put our ear wrap on. Now you could go ahead and dangle another earring from there, or you can open up this little loop and attach the end loop from the last bead to your post. Open it a little more. Just a tad more, Virginia. And close it. There we go. There's my other little connected one. So I got my little ear wrap connected to my little post. If you want to dangle something else on the side here, do I have anything else that I can dangle? Not really. Don't have anything ready. But there it is. Isn't that neat? If I can get a better view. There we go. We've got all kinds of goodies going on here. We've got an ear wrap around the back. We've got an ear wire on the front. We can wear them both together like so. We can wear one or the other. And we can do a combination of the two. That is so neat. I love versatility. This is definitely versatile. That's it. That's our program for today. I hope you liked it. I know I do. And I hope that you'll make these because these are a lot of fun. So you knew I had to try them on, right? I mean, that's just a given. There they are. Oh, goodness, I love it. So I could wear just the dangle down the back without the front ear wire. I can wear the front one without the one down the back if I wanted to. I can wear them both together just to be a little bit more daring. And where's my little, oh, it's under my glasses. You can't see the little spiral because it's under my glasses. Anyway, and then we've got the other one on the other side with the little post and the wire. I could take it off the post and let it hang down straight if I wanted to. But oh, all kinds of possibilities. It does not work well with glasses. All kinds of possibilities of what you can do with these ear wraps. And and you don't have to have ear piercings. That's the most beautiful part of it. Let me get these glasses off. See if I can get this back on myself. There we go. I think kind of need a mirror. Yeah, there. There it is. It's too bad the glass. Well, when I'm out in public, I don't have glasses on because these are just readers. So I would be able to see my little spiral. There it is, ladies and gents. I just wanted you to see what it looks like. Isn't that neat? So anyway, that is our program for today. I keep looking at them. I hope you like this as much as I do. This is really neat because you could just wear one in one ear. You don't have to wear two, or I could be asymmetrical and wear one of these on one side around the back and the other one around the front and the other ear. Oh, the possibilities are endless. And I want to see what you do. I'm going to give you some beads. You can use any beads that you want. I used some very simple beads just so that you could see. The ones I'm using are actually, these paper beads came from Africa. I forget, I think it's Ghana. And then these are just seed beads that you can get absolutely anywhere. But I wanted you to see something that's a little bit different, but that you can use any kind of beads that you want. You need a little chain, you need some 20 gauge wire, and you're done. It only takes a few minutes for you to be fabulous. So there we have it. Let me know what you think, what you thought. If the video was good for you, if you could see what I was doing. I do the best I can with the little camera that I've got, and with my laptop keeps telling me you don't have a lot of whatever pixels or whatever it is, and whatever it takes to make it really clear. My little laptop is not the best. I got to admit it. And my lighting. I don't have any special lights. I have an overhead light. I have some side lights. I've got my great big picture window over there, and I am just hoping for the best. But let me know one way or the other what you think. My email is jewelrygin20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. You can leave me pictures, please, 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 and comments on the DeKalb County Library Facebook page. That's facebook.com/DEKALBLIBRARY, or you can leave comments only on the library's YouTube page, which is youtube.com/DeKalb County Public Library. You have to write out the whole thing. DEKALBCOUNTYPUBLICLIBRARY. I would love to hear from you, and not only hear from you, but know what part of the world you're from, because I love seeing that. But until next time, I hope to see you again, or I hope you'll see me again. So until next time, have a great week, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.